everybody, this is Maria Clark and welcome to my studio. Today's project is a spring heart bouquet necklace. I hope you enjoy. Let's get started. The materials that we'll use for this project is white clay in a variety of sort of pastel colors, Bacon Bond, and some basic tools. I have a ball stylus and a craft knife, a needle tool, and my blade. And then I also have a glass tile that I'll use to swirl, but you could use a regular ceramic tile for that. So I'll go ahead and get the white clay conditioned, and I'll get that rolled into a ball. And this ball is probably about 1.5 inches. Once I get that done, I'm going to take some of this light blue clay, and I'm trying to simulate a sky. So I have a relatively light color here, and I'll take some strips of that. And I'm just going to freehand. I could use an extruder for this, but I'm just going to go ahead and make some snakes of the light blue clay. And once I get all those snakes made, I will prepare to make my swirl. So you see that I just take one of the strips and I put it around the midpoint of the ball of clay, and then I just go ahead and add additional clay in a radiating pattern, and I'm really just doing it on half of the ball of clay, because when I make the swirl, I actually only want the swirl on one half because I'm going to put something on the other side. So I will get that adhered well, and then I will use my tile to make the swirl. And you can see that I'm really going for a light sky effect. Once I make the swirl, I'll press that down, and it's probably about 1/4 inch deep, and I will form that swirl into a heart. You could do all kinds of things with the swirls. You can leave them as round pendants, you can cut shapes out of them, flatten them and cut shapes. I'm going to go ahead and make a heart shape. I'm using a Q-tip with some alcohol to just clean off the white clay and get that nice and crisp. And then I'm using my ball stylus to make a little indent here on the one side. And I'm doing that because I want to make, it's like a little reservoir, and I want to go ahead and put some Bacon Bond in that reservoir, because you'll see that when I start to form and place the flowers, I want to be sure that they're really well adhered, and so I'm using the extra precaution of the Bacon Bond because the clay, the points at which the clay touches each other is pretty small, and I just want to give it a little extra strength and make sure it's secure. So I'll just fill up that little reservoir, and then I will start to form the bouquet. So I've got some green clay here, and I'm just freehanding cutting out some leaf shapes. These are just very simple leaf shapes, and you see they're not particularly precise, but they're going to do really nicely to form the leaves. And I will flatten those out just a teeny little bit, and then I'll just place them where I think they would look nice on the pendant here. And I'll get each one of those down. This is forming sort of my base layer. You just place these wherever you think you'd like them. There's no rhyme or reason to it, really. It's just getting something down to get the piece started. And I'll use my needle tool to put in some veins. Very simple. And I like the fact that you can just freehand this. You don't need a lot of complex tools to do this. Okay, so I've got a base of leaves down. You could put more if you wanted, or less. And now I'm going to take one of the colors of clay, and I'm going to start to form my roses. These are very simple roses. So I just take a strip of clay, and just for reference, this is rolled out to the number 5 on my pasta machine. So on each end, I'll just pinch it so I get a little bit of a sharp edge there. And I'll just pinch it all the way down the strip, and then I'll start to roll it to form the rose. And it's just a matter of rolling that up until I get the size that I'd like. And I'm rolling it pretty loosely because I want to be able to flare out the top to get a bit more of a rose look. And I'm pressing, you can see I'm flaring that out there and just getting a little more dimension. And then I'm kind of rolling the base between my fingers to get those flattened out. Not really flattened, but a little bit more, just a smaller size. Use my ball stylus to press that into the bacon bond. And then I'll just continue to make roses out of the various colors that I have, just varying the placement of those in a pleasing pattern. You can put as many as you want, and you can make these roses any size you want. I will vary the size of these just to give a little bit more interest to the bouquet. So there I am, just placing them down and using my ball stylus each time to make sure they're really embedded in that bacon bond. Here's the next color. And it's the same technique, just varying the colors. And you can see I'm rolling that up and flaring it out. And I'll just place that where I think it would look pretty. These roses are so simple, but they're sweet, and they really do look, actually in the end, like porcelain. Now, as I go through and start placing the roses, I'm going to add leaves to just fill it in, just like a regular bouquet would be. I'd fill it in with various leaves or sprigs. So here's another color, and it's really very simple process. So I'm going to let you watch as I finish filling out my spring bouquet. And as soon as we're done, I'll come back. One thing you'll notice, I'm varying how I place these. Sometimes they're standing up a little bit, and sometimes they're laying on their side, and that's just to give a nice dimension. Pinch off if you have any excess that you don't need. Bacon bond is going to do a really good job of holding these in. Here's a little bud size. And if it's too long, just pinch off any excess and get that replaced. I think that's really coming together nicely. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the green clay and I'm going to cut some more leaves, and I'm just going to fill in this bouquet with some additional leaves. Because this is, I'm adding them to the bouquet, I'll put the veins in before I actually place them. can see that you can add dimension by just adjusting how the leaf sits and make it look a little more realistic. Okay, I'm adding the last leaf. And what I will do is just do a little bit more refining on the heart shape to sort of even it out a little bit if it moved while I was adding the bouquet, and just get that shape the way I like it. And if I need to, I will take my alcohol and clean it up a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and get this into the oven for 45 minutes. Be sure you temp it. And it'll come out of the oven. And I added a finding at the top to hold a necklace. It's just a bail that I glued onto the back and added a neck wire. I think it's a really sweet project, and it would be nice for your mother for Mother's Day, or just for your spring bouquet necklace. I think it's a really sweet project. I hope you've enjoyed this project. As always, thanks for joining me in my studio. Take care.